Growing older is a natural process, but how we live through it can make all the difference between a fulfilling life and a lonely, bitter existence. Many imagine that retirement is all it takes to enjoy well-deserved tranquility, but the reality is that without certain essential elements, old age can become an extremely difficult period. Experts and seniors who have lived through this experience agree that there are fundamental factors that define the quality of life in the golden years. Ignoring them means running the risk of facing empty days, without purpose and with little joy in waking up in the morning. Today we're going to talk about these critical points and what really matters so that aging is a stage of growth, not sadness. Throughout this reflection, you'll realize how some details that seem small are in fact pillars of a happy and respectful old age. Each item we address here has been cited both by serious studies and by sincere accounts of those who have already walked this path. If this content resonates with you, please subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up. This way, in addition to receiving more content that can transform your future, you help us carry these messages to other people who also deserve to age with dignity. Let's move forward together in this conversation, with respect, empathy, and information that really makes a difference. The first absence that seriously compromises old age is the lack of genuine human connections. Having people to talk to, share joys and challenges with, or simply spend time with is vital for emotional and physical health. Social isolation, according to recent studies, is as harmful as serious chronic diseases. Feeling heard and understood reinforces a sense of belonging, combats depression, and even improves the immune system. On the other hand, prolonged loneliness fuels the silent sadness that many seniors face daily. Investing in true friendships, staying in touch with family, and participating in group activities isn't just a pastime, it's a deep human need that sustains the joy of living. Another crucial point is the absence of a daily purpose. Having reasons to get out of bed, even small ones, completely changes the way time is perceived. Many seniors report that after retiring, they felt a huge void, as if their usefulness had been lost. Experts say that cultivating goals, such as caring for plants, teaching something to someone, or participating in volunteer work, strengthens self-esteem and prevents feelings of worthlessness. A purpose doesn't have to be grand to be powerful. It just needs to exist, be real, and be yours. Without it, the days drag on, motivation disappears, and life loses the flavor it could have with each sunrise. The third major loss that makes old age miserable is a lack of autonomy. Not being able to decide on your own routine, depending on others for small tasks, or losing control over basic decisions creates a feeling of imprisonment. Maintaining autonomy as much as possible is essential to preserving dignity. This includes adapting the home for greater safety, taking care of one's own health responsibly, and staying active within one's capabilities. Small independences, such as choosing the day's outfit or preparing a simple meal, become powerful symbols of freedom. And where there is freedom, there is also self-respect, one of the most important pillars for happiness in the golden years. When health is neglected, old age quickly turns into a succession of limitations and pains. Many experts warn that body care should be constant and adapted to each stage of life, but never abandoned. Light exercise, good nutrition, and regular checkups are actions that preserve not only physical vitality, but also mental well-being. A body that moves more easily, even with limitations, conveys confidence and increases the feeling of control over one's own life. On the other hand, a body weakened by lack of care becomes a prison. The difference between an active old age and a limited life often lies in the choices made today. Another aspect that cannot be ignored is the absence of mental stimulation. When the mind stops being challenged, it becomes complacent, loses agility, and weakens over time. Experts warn that a lack of intellectual activities accelerates cognitive decline, increasing the risk of diseases such as Alzheimer's and other dementias. Reading daily, learning new things, conversing on varied topics, and solving small challenges help keep the mind active and healthy. No matter the age, the brain needs movement, new information, and stimulation. An active mind is an inexhaustible source of curiosity, creativity, and above all, hope. which is so necessary to face the natural challenges of aging. The sixth loss that turns old age into something sad is a lack of gratitude and appreciation for life. Many seniors report that, amidst pains and limitations, finding reasons to be thankful is what keeps them going. Daily gratitude for what is still possible to do, for the people around you, for the simple moments, fuels a positive energy that is reflected in physical and mental health. Living focused only on what is missing or what has been lost creates a huge burden, while recognizing the small joys opens space for new feelings of contentment and inner peace. Gratitude is a daily choice, an exercise that transforms the perception of reality and deeply enriches the experience of life. The absence of faith or a spiritual sense is pointed out as one of the greatest causes of suffering in old age. This isn't just about religion, but about having a personal belief that brings comfort, hope, and strength in difficult times. For many seniors, knowing that there is something bigger, that life has a meaning beyond what the eyes can see, makes all the difference in how they deal with loss, illness, and the approach of death. Faith, whatever its form, offers an invisible foundation that sustains the courage to face the natural challenges of age. Having an active spirituality is like carrying an inner light that never goes out, even on the longest nights. Now that we've talked about the absences that make old age miserable, it's important to reflect on how we can build a richer, more meaningful life from now on. Many mistakes made during youth and adulthood only show their consequences later, when time becomes an even more precious resource. Ignoring the importance of human relationships, neglecting body and mind care, or living without a clear purpose are attitudes that silently undermine the quality of our old age. Therefore, the best way to avoid these regrets is to act while we still have time and disposition. Small habit changes made today can make a huge difference for the future. The way we choose to invest our time from now on is decisive for the old age we will have. If we surround ourselves with good people, keep curiosity alive, take care of our health, and nurture spirituality, we create an internal environment strong enough to face the inevitable losses that aging brings. This construction isn't made of grand gestures, but of daily silent and consistent actions. And even if some of these attitudes seem difficult to adopt at first, each small step in the right direction strengthens the foundation of a long, active, and meaningful life. None of this guarantees against difficulties, but it is a powerful protection against emptiness and sadness. Many seniors who today live in a fulfilling way say that it isn't the absence of problems that defines a good old age, but rather the way they choose to see and deal with each situation. There are people who, even with serious physical limitations, keep their minds light and their hearts serene, because they have cultivated solid internal values throughout their lives. On the other hand, there are those who, even in good material and physical condition, live in deep bitterness due to the absence of these invisible pillars. This proves that the true quality of life doesn't depend only on external factors, but on the inner strength built with wisdom, patience, and intention over the years. Building this strength is a choice that needs to start now. It's important to remember that aging doesn't need to be seen as a sentence of limitations and losses, but as a phase of profound transformations and new possibilities. Each cycle of life brings its own challenges, but also its unique beauties, which can only be appreciated by those who accept the passage of time with maturity and serenity. Experts reinforce that those who learn to adapt to the natural changes of age, instead of resisting them, live with much more lightness. Adapting isn't giving up, but finding new ways to accomplish, to live together, and to enjoy each moment. This attitude allows life to continue being an interesting and rewarding journey, even in the face of inevitable limitations. Aging well also involves accepting one's own body and its new reality. Many seniors report that one of the greatest sources of suffering is the constant comparison with lost youth. Accepting that the body changes, that strength diminishes, and that some abilities are no longer the same is an essential part of the maturing process. This acceptance doesn't mean resignation, but rather respect for the path traveled and the marks it has left. Each wrinkle, each mark on the body is a testament to the battles won and the stories lived. When we see aging from this perspective, it ceases to be a reason for sadness and becomes a reason for pride and gratitude. Another fundamental point is the construction of a healthy and enjoyable routine. Having organized schedules, maintaining fixed activities, and setting aside moments for leisure and relaxation makes the days lighter and more predictable, reducing anxiety and increasing the feeling of control over one's own life. Small daily activities, such as walks, reading, gardening, or meetings with friends, help keep the mind occupied and the heart warm. The routine doesn't need to be rigid or monotonous, but it should bring a sense of security and comfort. Having an active life, even if adapted to the limitations of age, is one of the keys to maintaining enthusiasm and interest in life, regardless of the passing years. Another secret revealed by those who have aged well is to maintain the ability to be enchanted by the little things. The sunset, the smile of a grandchild, the aroma of fresh coffee, the unexpected visit from a friend. Small moments that, if not noticed, go unnoticed, but which carry within themselves an immense potential for happiness. Cultivating sensitivity to what is simple isn't something that happens automatically, it's a daily choice. Those who manage to keep a watchful eye on the small beauties of life have an easier time facing difficulties, as they find reasons for joy even on difficult days. Enchantment with everyday life is a constant source of renewal for the soul. Staying open to learning is another attitude that transforms the experience of old age. Often, there is a belief that aging means stopping evolving, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Learning something new, whether it's a hobby, a language, or a technology, stimulates the brain and renews the spirit. The mind that allows itself to be curious remains young, even in an aged body. In addition, the feeling of accomplishment and overcoming, even in small challenges, brings vitality and self-esteem. Experts are unanimous in stating that continuous learning is one of the factors that most contribute to the feeling of fulfillment and happiness in all phases of life, especially in the golden years. Building a legacy is also a powerful factor in giving meaning to old age. Having something that transcends one's own existence, whether through teachings, examples, or projects left for children, grandchildren, or the community, generates a sense of continuity. Many seniors report that realizing that their actions have positively impacted other lives has brought them deep peace and satisfaction. Building a legacy doesn't require great deeds, but authentic acts that transmit values and wisdom. When it is perceived that life echoes beyond the time lived, finitude ceases to be an unbearable burden and becomes understood as part of a larger cycle where each personal contribution has its place and its value. Another factor that differentiates a fulfilling old age from a bitter life is the ability to forgive. Many seniors claim that carrying grudges and resentments over the years is like carrying invisible weights that become more difficult to bear over time. Forgiveness isn't a gift for those who have hurt us, but a relief we offer ourselves. Experts indicate that learning to forgive frees up emotional space for lighter and more positive feelings, essential for mental health in old age. Forgiving is accepting that the past cannot be changed and choosing to move forward without allowing old pains to determine the present. It is an attitude of courage and wisdom that brings lightness and peace to the heart. The importance of maintaining a sense of humor cannot be underestimated either. Being able to laugh at oneself, at unexpected situations, and even at one's own limitations makes life lighter and more enjoyable. Studies show that laughter reduces stress, strengthens the immune system, and improves the quality of life at any age. In old age, where challenges can intensify, humor functions as a powerful coping tool. It doesn't mean ignoring problems, but facing them with a more flexible and positive attitude. Laughter connects us to others, reduces feelings of isolation, and reminds us that, despite everything, there is still beauty, joy, and surprise reserved for those who allow themselves to live with more lightness. It is essential to recognize that each person ages in a unique way and that there is no single model of happiness in old age. What matters is identifying what really brings meaning and joy to you, regardless of external expectations. Many seniors report that it was only when they stopped trying to fit into patterns and began to live according to their own values that they found true peace. This emotional autonomy is what allows old age to be lived with authenticity and freedom. Each choice made consciously strengthens the construction of a life that is worth celebrating, even in the face of the natural challenges of time. Aging is, above all, an act of daily courage. We then come to an essential reflection. Aging well is a construction that begins long before the arrival of grey hairs. It is in the daily choices, in the relationships we cultivate, in the way we deal with our mistakes and successes, that we shape the old age we will one day live. No one can go back to change the beginning, but anyone can start today to change the ending. The awareness that the future depends on present attitudes brings a sense of responsibility and, at the same time, hope. The good news is that it's never too late to make better choices, adopt new habits, and strengthen what really matters for a long, dignified, and happy life. If you've made it this far, it already shows that there is a genuine desire within you to live old age consciously and fully. This is the first and most important step. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up, so that together we can continue exploring themes that strengthen our journey. Your support is essential so that this message reaches even more people who, like you, seek a lighter, more human and more true future. The aging journey can and should be a passage of light and learning, and each small attitude of today is a seed of wisdom for the tomorrow that awaits us. Thus we end this moment of reflection with the certainty that despite the challenges that time brings, the way we choose to live makes all the difference. Old age doesn't need to be synonymous with suffering or abandonment. It can be, yes, a time of harvest, of inner strengthening, of true connections, and of celebration for the life that was built. It is up to each of us to decide whether we will live this cycle as victims of circumstances or as authors of our own story. May you choose to plant now what you wish to harvest later, with courage, love, and wisdom. The future is an open road, and each conscious step is a tribute to the life that pulsates in each of us.